guys are currently being held up by my laundry basket with a stack of books on top of it with the tripod. So we'll see how that works. Anyways, hey guys, it's Kate and welcome to my first official video on this channel. I used to post videos on another YouTube channel, but I haven't really posted in I think like almost a year, which is kind of crazy. I used to post so much, but I kind of just got busy with school and life and stuff. But I really wanted to get back into it and focus more on my book content because I also have a book account on TikTok. I'll put it up right here if you want to go follow me. I'm still going to be posting regularly on there, but I also wanted to kind of make some more long form content for you guys revolving around books and my obsession with books, if you can't tell. But I thought what better time to get this YouTube channel going than the fall season, which in my personal opinion is the best season, and there's so many books that I feel like match the vibe of autumn. Particularly I would say like mystery thrillers, fantasy, and even some romance. So I have picked out some books from each of those genres that I'm going to talk to you guys about today, and these are the books that I want to focus on reading this fall. And does fall not technically start for another couple weeks? Yeah, but for me, did it start September 1st? Yeah, because it's the best season. You want to make it last as long as it can. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, go follow me on TikTok, and leave a comment below with some video ideas for this channel. Let's get started. So I feel like when people think of fall, they typically think of like Halloween, October. So I'm going to start with the mystery thrillers just because they're like spooky. I think they're pretty good for fall. So let's get started. Most of these are young adult, but I do have one adult, so I guess I'll talk about that one first. And that is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulek. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but this book, from what I've gathered, is about a woman who starts babysitting this kid, and said kid is a little strange. Apparently, he really likes to draw, but what starts as an innocent hobby turns into something a little more sinister. The back says, "Is Teddy troubled, or is he channeling forces he cannot possibly understand? Knowing just how crazy it all sounds, Mallory, the babysitter, must decipher the images and save Teddy before it's too late." That sounds crazy. The cover is definitely giving a little bit of spooky vibes. And also, I'm pretty sure it features some of his drawings because that looks like a 5-year-old drew it. So I think that's cool. Have a little multimedia action going on. Very excited to read this one, Hidden Pictures. Next for my young adult mystery thriller reads. So this first one, I've been saying I wanted to read for a while. I think I'm finally going to get around to it this year, and that is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So this author wrote the Inheritance Games series. I absolutely loved that little trilogy, and people say that this one is even better in a lot of their opinions. I have heard it recommended, actually I think it even says, yeah, it says it on the front, The Naturals is Criminal Minds for the YA world, and I'm a huge Criminal Minds fan. I've been watching that show for a couple of years now, and it's honestly one of my favorites. So basically, from what I've heard people talk about, this book follows a group of teenagers who all have their own super niche ability that can help with deciphering cold cases. So for example, our main character, 17-year-old Cassie, is a natural at reading people. So I guess that's why it's called The Naturals. Like, they all have these natural talents that are hard to come across, and they just all come together, work together to crack these cases that have been left unsolved for years. And it's actually a series with 4 books, I believe. There might be 5, but I think it's just 4. So I think that is really fun. Maybe if I love it, I can continue the series and binge all of them. All right, our next book, now that I'm looking at it, I have no idea what it's about, so I'm gonna have to read the back. But it is by an author that I love, and that is The Haunting by Natasha Preston. It's literally called The Haunting. Like, I have to read this in October. Like, it makes no sense to read it any other time of the year. But I have read a few books by this author, and I have thoroughly enjoyed most of them. She has this really, like, specific writing style, and all her books kind of have a similar ending, but I still eat them up every time. So this one is apparently about a girl who breaks up with her boyfriend after finding out that his father is a serial killer who traumatized their small town last Halloween. Okay, I was right about the Halloween thing. Oh, and her parents have like banned her from seeing this guy because his dad's crazy. So she is shopping for a Halloween costume, but actually ends up witnessing a murder Okay, people are quick to blame her ex-boyfriend, and I guess he has a sister too, because their father is a serial killer. But our main character, Penny, is convinced that they are both innocent, so I think she takes it into her own hands to try to solve who this new murderer is that's copying her ex-boyfriend's dad. This sounds really, really good, and I'm definitely going to be reading it when it gets closer to Halloween. Alright, and our last young adult mystery thriller that I'm going to be trying to read this fall. Hopefully I'll read even more because I have a crazy amount of mystery thrillers. I think fall is just the perfect season to read them in, but I only selected 4 that are on like my priority top of the list, but if I finish all 4 of these, I'm sure I'll read some others. So this last one is called None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney, and can we just take a moment? I love this cover, like it's so cool. It has like this person's face in the knife. I don't know, I just thought that was cool. But this one apparently takes place in 1982. I did not know that, so a little historical. What it seems, it's kind of giving the same vibes as this book, The Naturals, that I just talked to you guys about, because it's kind of like that in the sense that it involves teenagers helping the FBI to solve cases. But this one is a little different because they're actually solving teenage serial killer cases, or not really solving them, they're just like kind of trying to get inside the teenager's mind and seeing why the person did what they did. So I think that sounds really fascinating. I love anything true crime. Like I said, I love Criminal Minds. I just love this kind of stuff. Okay, so our next genre that I'm going to be talking about is fantasy. I love fantasy. I think I would have to say fantasy with a subplot of romance is my favorite genre of all time. So I have a couple of them that I want to read in the fall. So our first one is Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerri Maniscalco, and I believe it's a trilogy, and I think she even made a spin-off of it, if I'm not mistaken. So basically like 4 books that I can read in this world. And I know this also has like a bit of a mystery because our main character is trying to avenge her sister who was murdered. And I also believe there are some characters in this book that are like the princes of hell. And one of them is our love interest named Raph. Our main character is Amelia, so Amelia meets him, and I think they kind of are like enemies but like forced to work together. And I feel like that's basically all I know about this book, so not a lot of information, but it just sounds like something I would like. I love enemies to lovers fantasy. I don't know, but I would love to get to this fall. I said I was gonna read it last fall. I didn't, so take that information how you will. Next is a book that I have been putting on my TBR for the last like...
Okay, I read the original series in January, so February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
7 months I've been putting this book on my TBR, and there's no good reason I haven't read it yet. I guess I just haven't like felt like it was the right time, but also does it really matter? It's not that deep. You can read it whenever you want, but that is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. So when I say original series, I mean the Caraval trilogy, because that is set in the same world and you're supposed to kind of read it before this trilogy, just so you like don't get spoiled. It follows like one of the characters from that book too, so it gives you like a bit of a backstory going into this book. So I read Caraval, loved it. I heard even better things about this series, so if I loved Caraval, I can't even imagine how much I'll love this one. It is about one of the characters, honestly kind of like a villain, but not really. Like, he was kind of morally gray in Caraval, and his name is Jax. He is the infamous Prince of Hearts in this world, and this girl named Evangeline Fox seeks him out because he always like strikes deals with people, and she wants to stop the wedding of the love of her life who is marrying someone that isn't her. But she gets caught up in Jax because he's hard not to get caught up in. If you read this book or the other books, you would know. I cannot wait to read this. I think fall will be the perfect ambiance, but I could have read it any other month. I just chose not to for whatever reason. I'm very much looking forward to this book. I have heard honestly nothing but good things about this. I don't think I've really heard like a single negative review, or at least like very negative. Okay, the last one, I think it's fantasy, but like it's not like a romantasy, it's just like fantasy. And it is Circe by Madeline Miller. This is actually a Greek mythology retelling. Ooh, fancy. I read Song of Achilles by the same author. I liked it. Not really sure why I picked it for like this specific TBR. Nothing about it really screams fall except the fact that it has orange on the cover. But you know, that is enough for me to put it on this TBR, I guess. I don't know too much about like the actual plot other than that it follows Circe. This description is kind of vague. It just says to protect what she loves most, Circe must summon all her strength and choose once and for all whether she belongs with the gods that she is born from or the mortals she has come to love. So, we will see. Alright, and my last genre that I'm going to be talking about is romance. So I have 3 romance books. One of them I'm going to talk about first because I feel like it could be put in either fantasy or romance, but it is mainly a romance. It just happens to have some magical realism in it. This book is The 7-Year Slip. This one you cannot deny. This is a fall book. There are literally leaves on the cover. It is so cute on the back cover as well. And I actually think I know a decent amount about this book. So basically, our main character, don't know her name. Okay, Clementine. Oh my god, that's such a pretty name. Clementine unfortunately loses her aunt, but her aunt leaves her old apartment, which she has like always said is like magical. But obviously Clementine didn't believe her. She thought it was just her aunt being like quirky. But little does she know, when she moves into this apartment her aunt left her, that woman wasn't lying. It is literally magical. There is a man in there who is from 7 years in the past, and they form a connection, but will it work? I don't know, because she lives in present day, he lives in the past. He just kind of is in that apartment. So that sounds like a mess of a situation, and I am ready to devour every moment of it. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that one. Next, we have a bit of a series, but I only have with me the first book, and that is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is a beloved book, a beloved series, shall I say, called The Boys of Tommen. I think there's maybe like 5 books published. I don't know. I know there's a good amount of books, and she's still like, it's ongoing. She's still writing more. I actually tried to read this book once, but it was on the audiobook, and it was a while ago. So I wanted to give it a fair chance because I think it's something I'm really gonna love and really gonna like, I want to devote a good chunk of my time to reading this and getting obsessed with the characters because I think it has the potential to be a new favorite. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe it's not what everyone says it is, but I think it's me good. So basically these people go to like boarding school, Tommen College. It takes place in Ireland, so like their school is different than the US. I don't know too much about the technicalities, like if they're actually in college or if they're like high school age, but I know that this girl, Shannon, comes from a very bad home life. So she kind of like seeks comfort in this boy named Johnny, and they form a romance. He's a rugby player. Check up trigger warnings. I know that there are some triggering subjects in these books. Like I haven't even read them, but I just know. But I really think that I'm going to enjoy it a lot. The text is so small. Like, look at that. But I'm gonna read the tiny little thing at the top. So it says, he wants to save her, she wants to hide, she's damaged, he's determined. Fate brought them together, love binds them. Binding 13, everyone. Okay, I'm pulling up my next book on the iPad because it's actually my current read and I'm reading the ebook. And I bet you're at her place right now. Our final book that I'm gonna be talking about, I'm already 40% into, so this one I can definitely check off the TBR once I finish it. And it is called Cleat Cute, so I'm just gonna hold up the ebook. But this book is about professional women's soccer players, and it is a romance between 2 of the soccer players. We have Phoebe and Grace, and basically Phoebe is very like outgoing, easily makes friends, gets along with everyone, very flirty, and Grace is actually the captain of the soccer team, but she's a lot more reserved, keeps to herself, introverted, very like by the book, following rules, professional. But they hit it off. She kind of starts showing Phoebe around the city because Phoebe is like the rookie on the team while Grace is the captain who has been doing this for a while, and there's undeniable chemistry between them, so things start to happen. And I'm not going to say anything else because I've already started this book, so I don't want to accidentally like spoil anything, but it's really good. Definitely fall vibes because soccer is a fall sport, I think. Yeah, I think. Alright, those are actually all the books I'm going to be talking about today. Those were only 10, but I'm hoping to be able to read even more. But these are the ones that I am most excited to read. thank you guys so much for watching. I will be posting much more on this account more frequently. I don't have like a set posting schedule or anything. Don't think I will anytime soon. I'm just gonna post when I have a video idea, when I have one ready and edited. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video, whenever that may be. Bye!